Hi everyone, this is a Quixel mixer demonstration and I'm going to show you how to put together something quite simple from any other textures you got kicking around, mix them together. So I'm just going to open up Hazard Floor, which I created the other day. And this is based on some textures that I scanned from various photos, fed it into Agisoft photo scan and mixed it with some other cracks and things that I had at stock, and then painted in these this mask here. So I did have some other masks that I was lerping in, but they were only for really subtle effects, like liquid, to create a more wet look, change distance vertically of that to make it look like it'd been raining, and obviously that could also get masked as well. Oh, don't have any masking for liquid, but you know, that's coming, I'm sure. So to make something like this, I'll just strip it back to each layer. So I had this image, this cracked image from some, basically just some assets that I'd found on my hard drive, um, and the diffuse is also. I'll click on that. Yeah, I think the diffuse is the same. We've got displacement, and I've probably gone into Photoshop and did a little kind of tweak on it. So some of the cool stuff I can do, if I can find that image actually, probably export the layers. Would be good to know the image details where I got it from, but I guess for now I could render out something as it stands. So export just the. Let me just see if I've got to generate normals on this. Okay, generate normals. Yeah, that's cool. Alright. Hopefully there's more options with that, because it's hard to say what it's actually doing in the next version. So I'm going to just export what I've got here. Meantime, I'll open Photoshop actually. So export normal and displacement, diffuse. Yeah, let's just export these, see what I can do with them. Right, so anyway, I'm back to this. You can see I've got these textures loaded into a paint layer, displacement and diffuse, and diffuse gives me the ability to, change. I change the color further up here. This just gives me a base. So I've got the displacement base and some diffuse color in it, which I can use to help enhance base. This is some gravel that I scanned myself. So they've got some nice like gravelly pathways. I thought it'd be good to mix that in. So I made that tileable, not through Quixel Mixer, but just manually by clone stamping, and then I generated a normal map using normal map online. I suppose you could use like Endo or Crazy Bump or anything like that. Nald. Okay, so I made gravel here, and I've brought that into a certain level. So details, radius, just tweaking these until I get something that looks good. I've killed the diffuse right down. It's like kind of sand. It was a kind of sandy color in real life, but it came out quite grey after the scan. So I'm just going to use it as a detail thing. I put a solid color over that to get it to show up in certain areas, like especially in the cracks, just to make them look darker and pop a little bit. Then what I've done is just done a solid fill color Then I went into Photoshop and made these lines. So to make these lines, I just create a new document. Use the grid, fill with black, and then flip that round, white, and then basically just click here, 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 here. So fill that with white, and then just copy it down so it hits like 3 across. Yeah, there's 3 full squares between them. 1, 2, 3. And it should snap if you've got your grid and your snaps on. 1, 2, 3. Come on. Try to get it to snap in place. Maybe this corner will help. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So 3 full, 3 full, 3 full. Merge that down. In fact, what we'll do before I merge that down is undo and do a copy of that piece, just in case I need it. Merge down, and then you can use filter offset. So if you know the document size, image size 2048, or you might want to like Control A, copy and paste the layer just so that it's like cropped. So the document is 2048, so I want to do filter offset 1024, 1024, just to make sure that it repeats. I can see a little odd bit here. Just paste that in. I pasted the whole layer. So it's careful. Process. Let me just do that again. Okay, I've got that one piece. It looks like it's in the grid. Should be okay. Sorry folks, let me just do that one more time. We'll fill. In fact, let's just do it this way, so clicks instead of copying. Many down would that be? 3. There. Okay. 4 down, 3. 4 down, 4 across. Fill with white. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that would be a triangle. I'll just do the next one. 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. And this corner. Right. I'm just going to do a copy of that, dip that layer for now, merge that down to the offset, and that looks fine, nothing changed, so I know that that's tileable. So now I've saved this out as a mask and then loaded it into, so if I just duplicate that layer, Control D. Okay, you can see already by duplicating, it's removed this this manual draw mask, which is fine. It's fine. I've got a copy of it there. So you can see what I've done is I've started to paint some of these edges away. So all this is a yellow paint layer. It's not got any extra details in it. It's just paint, and obviously it's getting mapped to what's happening below it. You can see it better in this one. So this new one, the from above threshold, and you can see that just pushing some of these values and get it to warp itself to the base and all that good stuff. Getting the edges, opacity, make it really faint. Now, this is good because I can make several versions of this and some really warm ones. if I make 2 or 3 of these tileable hazard stripes all based on the same image, I can basically make a full scene using like these 3 textures as a splat map, or even base it on another mask, world space, and then I don't have to worry too much. So just quickly generating a few of these, I can do something like that. Wrap to base, remove base details. Alright, and then you can start to paint. I think what I did here was just get the soft brush and just pass it as a bit high size and just painted just a little bit in the edges just to make it look warm. Just going to be careful when I get to the edge here because it might not. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, let's be careful. Oh, one thing they've not fixed is the habit of pressing undo. And yeah, be sure to press X to change this value instead of undoing, because you're just painting in this mask. So instead of undoing, you just press X and you can sort of redo it. See, bring it back. So don't, until they fix it, don't press undo on this mask, because it will just clear it. I don't know if that's just my end or if it's a known issue. I think it's a known issue, but it's early days for Quixel Mixer, and I'm sure they'll implement it. So this is how I did this one. Well, I think I've gone to the edge. Alright, it's another little issue where it only paints so far. But if I just keep getting up this way, I should eventually catch up to the other side. Excuse me. This is great because it is it's like working in Photoshop. A way to get a lot of variation in Photoshop is just to make like copies of stuff and then create like a render noise, render clouds mask, and then do a few of those render to cloud masks and put them into like layers above that create dart or grunge or anything, and you got a good bit of variation. So you've already got that control here. So if you did a render to clouds, and hopefully they eventually include something like that, procedural noise or Perlin noise and Voronoi, would be amazing if they did that. I'm sure they will eventually, but I don't know in which version. And I just love the way that it automatically picks up the details below. Just from, it needs to go back up to the other side. I'm going to turn that tiling off so I don't get too caught up by why that's not working. Too far into the tiled area. I think the brush is just disabled at that point. But yeah, until they include, especially this primary mask, so you can load an image and you get various options. It would be good to like have a generate noise. Some people were saying, "Oh, why can't you load in your own meshes?" I said, well, it kind of defeats the purpose of what Mixer's all about. It does everything off the plane. And if you start to load in your meshes, yeah, I guess you could do it off the normal of an object. But until they push something like that, we're stuck with this plane. And no doubt they'll blow our minds with, oh, we can now load your own meshes and everything's based off displacement and normal maps of the layer below and surface normals, and yeah, that gets a bit crazy to implement. So whether they'll ever do that, who knows? Who knows? I'm full of suggestions. So I just love the scan type stuff. So I've done quite a few myself where I've going to brick walls and just taking loads of pictures, and a nice try and get an overcast day where it's not like direct sunlight or harsh shadows, and that usually does the job. So you can see I've got a lot happening here. I'm going to turn these off. So you see when I turn these off, I just get a plain flat ground, and it's not that interesting. But this all tiles quite nicely. And that's more or less the result I got here, but I've done a bit more work with it, where I've back into this and took these brushes and just sort of tapped the edges a little bit here and there. And instead of rotating the brush, which we can't do yet, I just rotate the plane. It's kind of like when you used to draw as a kid, or if you're drawing, you'd always turn the page to get your your stroke right, because you're used to doing strokes a certain way. Press S, middle mouse, yeah, change the brush size. Choose different stuff. I think I made one or two of these as well. So this is fairly fresh setup. I've not added very much. I've got a little bit of a library of stuff that I created just from this the base. So I made some grassy brick based on some bricks. I think it was these ones. I've also got some textures locally that I loaded in to see how they would look. Some Pixar stuff. Created this lava field as well from pretty much from scratch, just using Photoshop and a few noises. Brains of Blood, that was good fun. And that was a little bit of Substance Designer just to get a Perlin noise out. I'll show you those in a second. But this is what I built up. This is my very first mix, which I did a really quick video of, speed video of. You can see that somewhere else in my YouTube channel. But yeah, so for now, that's how to do this. Now, if you wanted to add in something like, let's add in like a warning thing. So one thing I do have to bear in mind is everything's going to correspond based on the texture here. So I will just use that as a template. And let's type in warning, or whatever it might be, or no parking. No parking might be a good one. Let's just change that to Arial, increase the size, go for bold, take away italic. I just use this guy. Oh, this one. Take away the italic, bold, no parking. Okay, and NPO parking. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. The pole parking. Okay, no parking. So that's its own thing. I'm just gonna throw in black under that one. I'll just put this in desktop for the time being. I do have a, in fact, no, I do have a folder that I started making. Storage, textures, give me a folder, I'll call this points. Marking diagonal. Right. So I got that. So I'm going to add yellow again. So I might as well just duplicate the layer. So automatically it gets rid of the extra drawing that I did on the mask. But I just want to load a new one in here, and that will be, okay, I need to fish for that, so that's T storage. And there we go. Parking. Again, I can do various things. That layer, threshold, radius. Oh, that's nice. Ah, how good is that? Just to have it automatically fade to the little grooves of this scanned gravel texture. Yeah, it needs a little bit of bump or something. Maybe generate normals on that one. That didn't do very much. You can see it pushes down this. It's because it's coming from above. If from below. Ah, there we go. Now that would probably work nice on this as well, from below. And then change where it happens from. In case they just trying this slider until it looks right. Yeah, that makes sense from below because as cars pass by the high points, it would wear away the paint. And yeah, I mean, logically it's better, but visually I don't know if it's any better. But I mean, by all means, I could mix both of them, so I have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But once we're able to like clone these masks, it'll make more sense because for now I can't do anything with this mask, and I want to be able to like copy it in here. So that's a little bit restrictive in this version. So hopefully that's something that gets rectified. Okay, so I've got the no parking coming from below. So I choose which height I want. Let's just bring it up to high point. I want to see if I can get it to wrap to the base a bit better. Don't remove base details, bend the edges, opacity. Yeah, none of that is really working. It's all down to this threshold. And I need a really low value. So is it minus 0.02? 0.02? Minus 0.05 is too low. So minus 0.03. Minus 0.045. Alright, just need to mess with some of these other things. Let's tile that. And then I think the no parking one needs a bit of work. I just want to give the paint a little bit of thickness. So don't remove the details. I think the best one with this was definitely from above. But you can see how it pushes inward there. I don't actually want it that way. So opacity mask. Yeah, it doesn't do anything special. Above. Stick to from below. Threshold. Serve details. Radius. Up to base. Right. I think maybe because these are off as well. Oh my god, that's changed a lot of things. Let's put those back on. Forgot about those. That might affect a few things. You see how the paints gets caught in all these cracks, so when it was painted, they're more likely to be in there. I guess that's why it's good to have maybe some other noise that I can add, take away. Do from above. Yeah, that's, I don't know if that's better, but maybe a combination of both would be good. It looks pretty good. The threshold is really delicate, so I'm kind of stuck between this 0.04 and 0.05, but let's jump into 0.06. So it needs to be a little bit more finessed, I think. Radius, opacity, doesn't do what I want. Yeah, it's all a bit delicate now, so opacity. From below, from above, from above. Right. Try to see what I'm doing different here. Radius, threshold. A little bit of radius on that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, these cracks are pretty obvious. Don't know if I can put a, yeah, no masking for paint just yet. No masking for each of these. The overall opacity kind of helps a little. I think still using it, sort of tone that down a bit. Let's just look at it in a higher resolution. See how it looks. Alright, so I think instead of trying to fudge with these layers, I could change this layer some more, just to make it a bit stronger. The diffuse, I could change the diffuse maybe, or the space. Yeah, that helps kill some of the base. I just love how it gets like all these tones that looks so like real life. Let's add the liquid back in. Oh, look at that. It's a really cracked tarmac. Reminds me of the roads of Scotland because of all the cold weather. Then the warm weather makes it crack. Got a green layer in here. I think I was going to suggest adding some like foliage or something. That would be from below the threshold, and then like it would grow in these little areas. But it all gets a bit delicate and tight. The more layers you add, it's getting harder to add detail into these areas. So I've done away with that. Liquid's nice, but this ground's just way too cracked. It almost looks like mud. Again, I can sort of change some parameters here to see what works. The liquid, yeah, that's confusing. Okay, I mean that's way too much. Yeah, definitely wouldn't want to park there. So given this base displacement a bit more push means I can fit more things kind of in these imaginary layers between like all the displacement levels. I can get more things that appear and pop through. So if I did have this strong crazy green layer, let's just change that to something maybe like dark green, too strong color. Change the threshold of that. From below, wrap to base. Don't remove the details. Got radius. Bend edges, I'm not too sure what that does just yet. I think that's to do with the edge, I guess, that bends. Okay, from above. I guess it's just trying which of these does. And in theory, I'm trying to get it to fill a few of these cracks, but maybe don't have enough push. This here, the gravel, I can mess about with that, make it more grainy. Or less. Oh, that's good. This is seriously cracked ground. This no parking is looking a little bit... whoa, what happened? I think I just killed it. Alright, we undo. Or moved. Oh, I managed to move it down here. How the hell did I manage that? Okay, let's quickly press something. Right. I just need to paint up the edges a little bit because it's obviously looking a bit too neat. So just to make it tie in again, I'll just use the soft brush. We change the settings down to 512. Oh, cancel that. Is it doing it anyway? Alright, did it anyway, that's fine. So just so that I can paint rather quickly. Turn off the tiling, turn off displacement as well. Speeds everything up. Yeah, it's too low. 1024 would be better. I don't think I would ever really work in 512 unless I'm getting a lot of heavy layers happening. I think a good practice is to make a base layer that you like if it's gravel or concrete, like separate those out. Add that to your library because you'll use them again as a base layer. Then that crunches all the layers down as well, like all the workings, like that will crunch them down into like one material pack. Sorry for any background noise if you hear it. Due to get a new mic soon. Spoil myself with a blue. So just knock it off there. You get the idea. I'm just going to quickly splash over the edges a bit more. I guess a good thing to add, speaking of splashing, is maybe add in a deliberate puddle. So for that to happen, we need to create a dip in the ground. Just a little tad more here. Just get, no, press X. Press X. There we go. Don't press undo, which I'm so used to doing. Press X to bring it back. Paint it back. Paint it away. Paint it back. Alright. Right, so that's a bit more grunged up. And I could go in and sort of make a here and there as well, just to push that away a bit more. Right. Okay, so back to the layers. I could save it as is, but it's almost like a finished piece. I will go in and add a puddle. So for that, I can create another paint layer, and I will create it right about here. So paint layer is, oh god, this one, solid. No, it's not. It is this one, right? I'm confusing myself. Oh, it's this one, right? Okay. These little icons. Okay, I'll move that down to here. Another one is displacement. Need to load an image. So I could load. No harm in just loading this for the time being. You can see I can push this as well. Kind of handy. Ideally, I want to just add. Let's clear that. See, so I want to be able to paint displacement manually. Oh yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I'm thinking I can just paint it. Right. So I think I'm painting it. Let's try that again. So what's this one? Water. Let's paint. Displacement. It is painting something. Let's load. Let's just make some quick noise. Make sure I'm doing this right. New. Yeah. Render clouds. I'm still at the experimental stage, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit here and there as I learn the process. So anyway, something like that. Render cloud strong. Okay, load image. Whoa. Uh-huh. So I'm going to put the liquid back on just to see. There we go. What that is. We've got the screen paint on as well, so I don't want that. And you can see that's very strong. But yeah, that's exactly what I wanted, more or less. And I've got like dual control of this, so it seems. And that creates a lot more uneven surfaces. Just turn the liquid off to see how that looks. And that creates that kind of third, tertiary effect that I was kind of wanting. Just driven through a texture and a displacement, I can say, okay, well, it's affecting the height of things. If I put that on, you should see it a bit better. There we go, you can see how that's changing the height dramatically. How cool is that? Because, yeah, you painted on the high points and the earth became very corroded and all these pits and valleys emerged because this tarmac job was terrible and they used the wrong materials, etc. But yeah, you can see that merging in there. I think something, oh yeah, should be that one. So yeah, that's the one I created for you guys now, and I can go in and, you know, muck about these edges some more. It does look like the work that I did on that has disappeared. So there's a few bugs with these masks, I think because I moved the layer or something. So put that back on there. Muck about with this one. Add in the liquid. And you've got something that you could place in a kind of underground parking area or back of a shop type scenario. Wow, that's crazy. So I think less is more. Sometimes like people, they just go crazy with it, and I think less is more in this situation. And obviously the liquid would be an optional version of this. But I'm quite happy with that, so I would just save that as so it's a hazard floor, no parking, and because they're pretty much the same. Oh, I must have two. What? I don't understand. Anyway, I'll just export to the library. Hazard floor, parking. Right. Concrete's fine in the tag, so no parking. So a few categories. Okay, save that. And there we go, I've got my two versions. So I could basically paint this on the main sort of area, then where I needed the no parking, it should line up perfectly with this one. So that's how I made that guy, and he was built from various layers. So can I save that again? No, it doesn't like that. Cannot clear directory. Okay, so no big deal. That nothing to do with this, is it? Usually Photoshop conflicts with some stuff. Yeah, okay, I'll work that out another time. But this whole thing was made of various, and so I'll just do a new mix and show you a few of the bases, gravel and such. Gravel, working resolution 1024. I like the specular workflow, kind of got used to that. I know that metal in this workflow is cheaper in terms of RGB costs and stuff, so I'm going to go to my local library. And rough concrete, nope. Gravel. So gravel was the one I took about 10 to 15 photographs of an area of the ground and took it into Photoshop and made sure it tiled. There was a few weird stretchy bits, you can still see it there, little kind of stretchy bits and scuffs, and I thought, you know what, that actually adds quite nicely. You can see this kind of line here is where I've not kind of clone stamped some of this around. So basically I had the normal map generated through the high-res scan, and also did some extra normal map through the base albedo, mixed that in, and then clone stamped a few areas. So I've done a really hacky job of it, but for what it's worth, it does a good trick, and I've mixed it in a little bit with another library file and called that gravel. I think I mixed it with rough concrete, so I can add that in and make it even rougher. And then I added in some cracks and so on, and changed the color of everything. And just doing all these layers, like paint layers above, you can get everything down to a nice normal map, but like bump. So you can see how I've kind of brought some of that in. Change the radius a little bit, change color. I think I'd killed the color of this as well, right down. Yeah, and then I would make some cracks. I think it was mud cracks or something. Oh no, it was a lava field. Actually used a lava field, which is it was a custom one that I'd created. just kill the diffuse, tiled it a couple of times, I think maybe 3 times, and then duplicate that, Control D, rotate it twice, do a bit of offset. Alright. And change the threshold of these a little bit. And add in our paint layer. Not paint layer, it's a solid color layer I want. It's this one from above. And I can start to like get rid of some of those tones. I don't like your tone. Wrap the base. Change the opacity somewhat. Let some of it through. Preserve details. Okay, that's already a kind of really rough ground. Whether it passes as tarmac, not too sure, it's a bit mixed up. And yeah, I think maybe dark is better. So then, yeah, save that as, so I'm gonna save it as something, gravel. I think I'd need to make a new mix. I just export to library, I think that's the best way forward. So gravel, we'll call that tarmac, dry looking tarmac. Category would be concrete. Yep. Road, tarmac. Yep, fine. So instead of now working with these, I would just start a new mix. I'll call this road 2, whatever it might be. And I've got my local library and load in my tarmac. And it just cleans everything up. Now I've just got the one layer. I can duplicate that layer, change the color of it and such. So do some things with it. So Control D. Make it nice and bright. Change the frequencies. Threshold like that. Radius. Set details. Opacity. So it's great the way you can just like change stuff on the fly. Just experiment to see what looks good. That could be like green. Base, remove base details. Since it's from above. It doesn't look like much. Something like that gives me a little bit of variation. I don't have an extensive online library like anyone does. I've not signed in for one. But yeah, I just grabbed what I could to experiment with. You know, I've got the grass, I've loaded in some other things as well, so it's fairly easy to load in your own bases. And the way I do that is to go to library, import custom surface, I'm pretty sure I've got a ton of old tileable textures from back in the day, which could be put to good use now. Storage, photos, I got textures, various textures, tileables. Some of these are really old, like 2012 or something. Got some cracked. It's crazy. I think I made this using use like Dido to make something like this. Cracked chalk rock. And I got a terrible looking normal map for it. Specular. It's a nice brick one. Decayed brick. This was actually just a photograph and then just a normal map of it. Let's try that. So diffuse. Specular. I don't think it has. But I'll just load in the same one just for the sake of having a there gloss. Again, just the same one. Normal map. Go displacement. Same one. And next height. So I'll probably remove it later as well. Let's see, it's 2 meters by 2 meters. Like cap rate, brick wall. Height. Very much. Import. So it doesn't go straight into your system here, it goes into your local library. So I'll choose bad brick. And I can start to get rid of all that extra stuff that I loaded in just for the sake of it, not complaining. Frequency, I can change some of these. It's all generated. Threshold. God, the colour is really strong, so I'll kill that down a bit. I could go in and grayscale the texture itself as well, or even just load this in as a. That's what I do. I'll take some of that away. I might want to keep it, but if I create a layer, this no, not solid color. I always get mixed up. This one, yeah. Displacement, load image, and find that same image. I'm pretty sure this tiles. Let's go into that, so that way I can mug out the bump and take away the diffuse or anything. I'm just using it for the bump. Okay, that color is awful, isn't it? So details, radius, threshold from above. Okay, maybe move this up above here. For some reason I'm getting nothing from this anymore. I think because this paint layer might be pushing too much the other way. Anyway, we don't need this layer anyway, because the best way to do it is through displacement. If we don't want color, just use that, and I could always load in the actual diffuse here. And I will change the threshold to this one. So from below, remove it here, from above. And this texture just tiles too apparently. Not the best one to use, but yeah, dig into my old stuff to see if we can do anything with it. It's always good. It's just such a noisy texture. And yeah, it tiles pretty badly there as well. So yeah, have fun with the Quixel mixer. I don't want to get too much into all those details, but yeah, if you want any of these, let me know, and I can post you either a video of how to create them or a link. I won't. See you.